Made for Love is an American dark comedy series that premiered on HBO Max in April of 2021. It's based off a 2017 novel of the same name by author Elisa Nutting, who is also an executive producer. The show gets its name from the name of the microchip that tech billionaire Byron Goggle, played by Billy Magnussen, has placed into the head of his wife, Hazel, played by Cristin Milioti. This chip allows him to track her location, watch her, and know her emotional data. Her desire to get away from him and the discovery of this extreme invasion of privacy fuels the events of the season. Critics and fans were both impressed, with it getting 94% and 81% scores on Rotten Tomatoes respectively. The show has already been approved for a second season, and while the cast is preparing to start filming again, we're here to give you some of their behind-the-scenes moments, rumors, and news. Fans of this new hit won't want to miss our video. But before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on so you don't miss any of the new videos we post. Okay, let's start with our Made for Love Season 1 behind-the-scenes moments. First, let's address the elephant in the room, or perhaps the space fleet in the room. If you think that this sounds like an episode of Black Mirror, you're not alone. In fact, Made for Love's two co-stars, Cristin Milioti and Billy Magnussen, acted together in the Season 4 premiere of the popular anthology series titled USS Callister. In the episode, people's personalities are cloned and uploaded into a virtual world controlled by a meek but cruel tech genius, Robert Daly. For the cloned minds, they wake up with all their memories feeling just like themselves. They discover that they're trapped aboard the USS Callister, where Daly toys with them, both reenacting scenes from their beloved show Space Fleet and giving himself godlike powers over his co-workers to get the respect he feels they owe him in the real world. As in Made for Love, Milioti plays the central protagonist who ends up trapped in this simulation world, and Magnussen plays Space Fleet's villain Valdak, though he turns out to be just another co-worker playing the role cut out for him by the twisted Robert. The episode won 4 Emmys in 2018 and has become a fan favorite in a show filled with stiff competition. In an interview with Liz Shannon Miller of Collider, Milioti, Magnussen, and fellow co-star Ray Romano sat down to give their thoughts on Made for Love and to explain just how they believe it differs from the near-future speculations and themes of Charlie Brooker's Black Mirror. Milioti remembers reading the script and being left with vivid imagery and the impression that she had never read anything like it. She said, "I had never seen relationships portrayed in this way. I'd never seen a marriage portrayed in this way. I'd never seen a marriage like this. I'd never seen the relationship between a father and daughter explored in this way. And I love that there was this extremely heightened world that is so much fun to play in as an actor, but actually explored relationships we all have and that we all struggle with. And I just thought it did it in such a wonderful roundabout way where you don't realize how it's sneaking up on you. So that's why I signed on." Romano has a little different kind of memory of how he came across this script. He recalls, "Yeah, my agent told me, once you read this, it's interesting. Your character at the end of the first episode, he has a relationship with a sex doll." And I went, okay. My ears perked up a little. We're glad that Ray kept an open mind and saw both the humor and sadness behind the character of Hazel's dad, Herbert, that he portrays so well. Seems that once he started, he couldn't stop. He says, "This was a great reading material. I couldn't wait to read the next one, you know? That's all I need." And then, of course, working with Cristin, and that outweighed the negative of working with Billy. Kidding. Of course I'm kidding. Magnussen was, of course, quick to fire back at his co-star, recounting his own story of how he came across the script, saying, "I did a project with Patrick Somerville, Maniac, and then he called me up and said, 'Hey, there's an opportunity with this one script. I'd love you to read it.' And then I found out Cristin and Ray were a part of it. I was like, already 2 bonus green lights from me, because again, I adore Cristin Milioti and Ray's okay." When asked about the connections to Black Mirror, all 3 of the actors agreed that the difference lies in the tone, saying that while ideas may be similar, the tone of Black Mirror is much darker. There's no hope at the end of it, says Magnussen, with Romano calling Charlie Brooker's show a bit terrifying. By comparison, they agree that there is plenty of horror and strange territory in Made for Love, so weird hope in this show, and point to some lighthearted and comedic moments. Still, when pressed to define the tone of Made for Love, they all struggle. Romano says, "The good thing about the tone is I'm saying this is a good thing, it's hard to actually pinpoint the tone of it, you know? You could say dark, absurd comedy, but I play all my scenes like it's a drama." Milioti also stumbles and recounts, "I do remember in the early days of shooting, even within myself, it's such a specific tone. It's almost like post-tone. That's also what I love about it. It's that it's sort of unbridled. There were times where I was like, am I in the right energy here?" But there were also a lot of conversations about that, and it was a very collaborative set, obviously, as actors, but also with Christina and Alyssa and Steph and Alethea, and I think that's also one of my favorite things about it. But perhaps the most helpful explanation for viewers comes from Magnussen. He sat down to watch some episodes with his brothers to get some feedback. As he reminisces with Collider, he remembers saying to them, "Okay guys, you gotta sit down, give me the honest truth, tell me what's going on." They would laugh and they would say, "It's so funny." Then at the end of episode 4, I remember my brother being like, "Dude, this is scary." It's a rare show that can be alternately poignant, terrifying, hopeful, dramatic, and funny. We hope that these behind-the-scenes moments revealed by the 3 main cast members give fans some insight as to what the show's trying to accomplish and where it might be heading in Season 2. Before we wrap up, let's also delve into some behind-the-scenes moments with the show's creators, Alyssa Nutting and Christina Lee. For Nutting, both the show and her book focus on the complicated, emerging relationship between people and technology. But she doesn't get preachy about her technology as evil and how we're destroying the world. In fact, she admits that she would put the internet in her eyeballs if she could. Instead, she says to Kayla Cobb of Decider, "We wanted to present a kind of a controversial argument. How can technology enhance relationships? How might it hurt it? What are the lines in the sand? When does it go too far? How does the surveillance impact someone in relationships especially? How much should you really know about your partner?" I think the show's just a really great vehicle to explore all of these conversations and the zeitgeist about what kind of effect technology is having on our lives and our relationships. Showrunner Christina Lee also pointed out that they began to work on the show before 2020, and the global health situation and shutdowns brought to life many of the show's big ideas about the role of technology in modern human connections. She said, "It was so interesting for us to be having those discussions about technology as a shortcut to intimacy or human connection before 2020. And then we had a year where we're relying entirely on technology for human connection. That came into play a lot for how we sort of rewrote the show during our shutdown and how it changed our perspective because we were living it." Wherever you might come down on the question of how, when, and how much to integrate technology in humanity, it's clear that the last year and a half have given us all some common ground from which to approach the discussion, and we're lucky to have this show to help us explore it all. And for fans hoping for an even more behind-the-promised second season, the showrunners want that too. According to Lee, "We love this so much, we want to do it until they kick us out." Nutting agrees, saying, "Christine and I will be old and gray." So there you have it, our look at Made for Love Season 1 behind-the-scenes moments. We focused on only a few of the cast and crew, so let us know in the comments if you know of any news, rumors, or comments from any of the other compelling characters that Season 1 introduced to us. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.